My name is Edward. I am 64 years old, and I live alone, in a small yellow house, near the end of Maple Street. Most of the houses around me are quiet, except for one, where kids play outside, all the time. Their laughter used to bother me. Now, sometimes, I open my window, just to hear it. For most of my life, I didn't like people. They were too loud, too messy, too unpredictable. I liked my routine. I liked my coffee at 6, my walk at 7, my lunch at 12, and my bed at 9. If something changed, it made me angry. When my wife died 10 years ago, I thought I was fine being alone. We didn't have children. I didn't have many friends. After the funeral, people came to visit me for a few weeks, then they stopped. That was fine with me. At least, that's what I told myself. For years, I lived like that. Every morning, I had coffee alone. Every evening, I watched the same TV shows. I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't need to, I thought. Then one day, the city started a small community project. They wanted neighbors to clean the park, near my house. I ignored the flyers they left in my mailbox. I threw them in the trash. But then, one Saturday morning, a woman knocked on my door. She was in her 50s, maybe younger. Her hair was short and gray at the ends. She smiled and said,
"Hello, I'm Sally. I live 3 houses down."
I didn't invite her in. I just said, yes. She said,
"We're cleaning the park today. We could use some help."
I shook my head. No, thank you. She looked disappointed, but didn't leave right away. She said,
"You walk past the park every morning. I see you."
That made me uncomfortable. I didn't like the idea that someone was watching me. She smiled again, but I didn't smile back.
"I just wanted to ask. You're welcome to join us anytime,"
she said. Then she left. I closed the door and felt annoyed. Why did people always think they could fix my life? The next morning, when I went for my walk, the park looked clean. The benches were painted, and the trash was gone. I saw Sally there, with a few others. They were laughing and drinking coffee together. Something about it stayed in my mind the whole day. A week later, she came by again. This time, she had a plate of cookies.
"I baked too many,"
she said. I didn't want to take them, but I did. I put them on the table after she left, and didn't touch them for 2 days. On the 3rd day, I tried one. It was good. I felt silly for not trying sooner. That Friday, I saw her again near the park. She waved. I didn't wave back at first, but then I did. Just a small one. She smiled big. I felt something strange, a bit of warmth in my chest. Over the next few weeks, Sally kept saying hello. Sometimes, she asked if I needed anything from the store. Sometimes, she asked how I was doing. I gave short answers, but I started to wait for her visits. One morning, she said,
"We're planting flowers in the park today. You should come."
I said no again. But later that day, I found myself walking there. I didn't have gloves or tools, but she handed me a small shovel.
"You can help me dig these holes,"
she said. I didn't talk much, but I dug the holes. And she talked enough for both of us. She told me about her husband, who passed away 5 years ago. She told me about her daughter, who lived in another city. Her voice was soft, but full of life. For the first time in years, I listened to someone's story. When the flowers were planted, she said,
"They'll look beautiful in a few weeks."
I said, "We'll see." She laughed. It felt nice to make someone laugh again. After that day, I started going to the park more often. I didn't always talk to people, but I liked being around them. They said hello, and I said hello back. It was simple, but it felt new. Then one afternoon, I saw a boy crying near the swing. He had fallen and scraped his knee. Normally, I would walk away, but something made me stop. I helped him up and took him to his mother, who was sitting nearby. She thanked me. I didn't know what to say, so I just nodded. That night, I thought about it a lot. Maybe helping someone wasn't such a bad thing. Sally came by a few days later. She noticed I had trimmed my bushes.
"I see you've been busy,"
she said. I told her I thought it was time to make the place look better. She smiled.
"Good for you, Edward."
I found myself talking more each time we met. We talked about the weather, food, music, small things. I told her I used to fix radios for a living. She asked if I could fix her old clock. I said yes. When she brought it over, we sat in my kitchen while I worked. She made tea and talked about her daughter again. It felt natural. It didn't feel like an interview or a visit. It felt like company. Over time, she introduced me to more people. There was Mark, who worked at the hardware store. There was Mrs. Green, who walked her dog every morning. At first, I didn't remember their names. But soon, I did. And I started to say hello first. One Saturday, Sally asked me to join the group at the park for a barbecue. I said I'd think about it. The truth was, I was nervous. I hadn't eaten with a group of people in years. But when the day came, I went. The park smelled like grilled meat and fresh grass. Kids ran around, and people talked over each other. It was loud, but not in a bad way. Sally waved me over and handed me a plate.
Glad you came,
She said. I sat with her, and Mark and a few others. They told jokes and stories. Someone asked me about my old job, and I told them a story about a broken radio that played music again after 10 years. They laughed. I laughed too. It had been a long time since I laughed like that. When the sun started to go down, Sally said,
"See? You belong here."
I didn't answer right away. But I smiled. And for once, I didn't feel alone. In the months that followed, I kept helping out at the park. I fixed benches. I painted a fence. I brought sandwiches for the group. People started calling me Mr. Ed. I didn't mind it. In fact, I liked it. Sometimes, I still felt the old loneliness. It came at night, when the house got too quiet. But it didn't scare me anymore. I knew I could walk outside, or call Sally, or wave to Mark across the street. I wasn't trapped inside my silence anymore. One rainy afternoon, I heard a knock on the door. It was Sally again, holding a basket of bread. She said,
"The power's out at my place. Mind if I stay until it's back?"
"Of course," I said. She sat on my old sofa, and we drank tea in the candlelight. We talked about small things. The storm. The garden. The cookies she burned last week. But the silence between our words felt comfortable. When the lights came back on, she said,
"I'm glad you're my friend, Edward."
I said, "I'm glad too." After she left, I looked around my house. It felt different now. Not bigger or newer. Just warmer. That night, I thought about how much had changed. I used to believe that people were trouble. Now I knew people could be light. They could bring warmth when the world feels cold. I still have my routines. I still drink coffee at 6. But now, sometimes, Sally joins me. Sometimes, the kids from the park wave from the street. Sometimes, I help someone fix something or carry groceries. And every time I do, I feel a little more alive. It took me 64 years to learn how to live with people. I wish I had learned sooner. But maybe it had to happen this way. Maybe it takes time to open your heart again. Maybe happiness is not something you find all at once. Maybe it's something you build, one small hello at a time. And every morning now, when I hear the kids laughing outside, I smile. Because that sound, the one that once annoyed me, is the sound of life. And finally, after all these years, I'm part of it.